Hi, I would like to share with you a series of stretch exercises, sequences that I've created in order to strengthen our bones and our joints. So I have 3 yoga positions that we'll be working in. There are 3 traditional positions. One is with feet together, and it's called Baddha Konasana. One is with feet together and long, and that's either Dandasana or when we start to stretch, Paschimottanasana. And the third one is with one leg in and one leg out. So we combine the first 2 poses. And this one is Janushirasana. So these 3 poses, if you do them a couple of times a week, is going to really give your bones that extra boost to produce a little bit more bone, and it's going to set you really well into your sockets, but also give you that flexibility in the core strength. So let's begin. First thing I'd like to do is just to do a very simple tapping, getting your body a little bit energized. So just flatten your body, hips, other side, underneath. Then take your knees and circle them smoothingly and soothingly. Going the other way. Then come down to a cat and down the other. Then lean back on your elbows and just take your legs, just shake them in the air and cross your legs for a moment and then come up to your chest. So this tapping is a way of just energizing our body, getting everything to wake up, getting everything to start to feel that it's at its best. And what we really want is balance in everything that we do. So a little bit on the 100-point area, that kind of third eye, which is there, but this stimulates it through the crown chakra. And then let your arms go and drop and lift. And drop and lift, and drop and lift, and hold. Okay, first thing we're going to do is to put our feet in Baddha Konasana. If this is too difficult for you to do and still stay sitting, then sit on either a cushion or preferably a folded blanket or 2. You want your back to be tall. So from this position, we start with our hands holding our ankles, and you're going to just pull on your ankles and ground yourself so that you have traction. You're now pulling down on your shoulder blades in your mid to lower back. You're broadening across the collarbones and you're lifting up through the sternum or the chest. So that's what you want first, and then you're just going to release. Now, to make it easier and to give us more power, I'd like you to have a yoga strap or a belt, or it can also be a, the straps that we use that are stretchy in Pilates. So bring your feet in, pull up, press down on your elbows, lift up, and try to get that straight line of energy. Every bone, not collapsing on the bones below, but rather lifting and suspending and strengthening the muscles along the muscles of the spine called the erector spinatus. Now lifting up and then just relax, let everything go. Pull back. I don't want you to strain in this at all. So I want you to only go as far as you can do it without that feeling of too much effort. Pull up again. Lift your chest, press your elbows into your thighs. Breathe normally. So I'd like you to breathe just in through your nose. You can breathe out through your mouth if you'd like, but it would be preferable if you could breathe in through your nose, pause, and then breathe out through your nose, because it activates the stomach, all the abdominals. Now, release. Now, just rest for a moment and then pull yourself up for the 3rd time, pressing down on the legs, lifting up through the chest, lengthening the spine, getting everything as tall as you can. And now you have 7 arm positions to see if you can actually hold this on your own. So this is position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4 is a V, 5, onto the head 6, and at the heart, Anjali Mudra 7. Now take your strap, pull it, and push your feet forward. Find the loop end if you have that kind of a strap where you have a loop. And if you have that, it makes it a little easier. You lean back, and the thing that it reminds me most of is water skiing. If you've ever water skied or watched anyone water ski, you are using your energy to counter and balance the energy of the speedboat that's pulling you. So imagine that there's a beautiful bright red speedboat going about 90 miles an hour. You're skimming along the top of the water and you feel powerful. Now, I don't want you to roll your shoulders to feel powerful. Rather, I want you to broaden across the collarbones, pull the shoulder blades down your back, lean as far back as you can. And now we're putting good stress on the bones, on the joints. Everything knows that I'm expecting more of my body. I'm eventually wanting to be here about a minute, but we won't stay that long in the first time. Pull up. Now, this time, pull my feet in a little bit more, your feet, and then lean with your chest, pulling forward, long line of energy, trying to really keep that line of energy going until you can't go any further. And then just like a clamshell, closing to the bottom clamshell. So you want this curved feeling. Use the strap. That's where your traction is. That's where you're using isometric, which is energy pulling in opposite directions. That's how we strengthen, one of the main ways. Then trying to get your head down towards your ankles, breathing in across horizontally the shoulders. Breathe very, very deeply. And then at any time you can lengthen, try and come a little bit further, and then see if you can get a little bit more rounded stretch. Then from there, you're going to lengthen again. You're going to pull up, pull back, and we repeat. We go to what I call water skiing pose number 1. Of course, you would never water ski with your feet together like this, just in yoga. But imagine that same idea of traction, the speedboat pulling you, you resisting, but balancing the energy that they have going forward. So pull back, you're able to have this tremendous balance. Now, coming up one more time, bring your feet in, hold your strap close to the feet, and then lift your feet so that it's in line with your face. If you're down here, that's okay. Eventually, you want to get your feet so that you're up. Now, notice that your biceps, your hands are turned up, your fingers are turned up. It's your biceps and the power of your trapezius muscle in the back, as well as many others. So pull, don't strain your neck at all. Just be able to hold it. And just find that sweet point where you're not straining, you're not working hard at it, you're just there. Then we come down, and let's see what we can do as a little bit of an extension of this, a little bit harder. Bring your feet in, hold your toes with your 2 fingers, lean back on your tailbone, and then find that same position, but you can have your feet a little wider apart. You can even try them wider. You can even try them fully stretched. And if you want more, you can just let go and find that sweet point of balance, pointing your feet, and then come down. Shake your legs. And again, if you feel that you strained a little, or you just feel your muscles working, give it that tapping that will really settle things down. Now, this time, take your strap, take your feet, put the strap across your legs. You're going to use it in a moment. But first, I want to take a moment to get your hands involved. I want your hands to work like our legs and our feet are working. So I want the hands to take weight, pushing down with fingers spread. I want you to lift up, but not actually off the mat, just from the mat or the floor. So you want to breathe in through your nose and then draw your shoulder blades down again. That I will say many times, broaden across the collarbones, lift the chest, pull the neck in. Now let's just take our feet and warm them up, circling them, and 2 and 3 and 4. Good job. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now flex your feet and flex them so strongly that maybe your heels can come up off the ground. Push in. Your hands are working like feet. They're taking weight. Now clench your toes. Now spread those toes and then point them. So we're really working our feet here. Toes, press and point, and flex and stretch, flex and point. Flex your feet, take your strap, double it, have your strap approximately the width of your shoulders. Now pulling apart again, this isometric, this traction that we've created. Pull away from each other. Your fingers are down this time. So it means that we are stretching, working the triceps, the side and the back of the arm. So coming down. Now try to align your breath with the movement. And then come down. Now, if you're not able to go all the way up, don't worry about it. Do what you can. But eventually you want to get a little higher, but by dropping your shoulder blades. Now pull up, pull your chest up, pull your back up, hold it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we take it forward, we loop the tops of our feet, the actual bottom of our feet, but actually is the ball of the foot. Pull back and get that same idea. This is more the traditional water skiing position you would be in, have seen people in. Knees are lifted, shoulders are broadened, chest is lifted, fingers are up now, it's biceps. So you don't want to just be leaning and pulling in your neck and your back. You rather want to use your biceps, pull your chest and back straight, lean back. My kneecaps are lifted. So we'll hold this. As I said, eventually I'd like you to be able to do it for about a minute, but that's a lot to do in the beginning. So now pull your body up, take your hands and walk them forward, holding onto your strap close to your feet. Now, again, turning your fingers up, you're working your biceps. I'm pulling my back straight. So for those of you who know the yoga names, we've gone from Dandasana, which is staff pose, to Paschimottanasana, which is forward bend, extreme forward bend. So now we are lengthening our back. I'm using traction by pulling. My feet are acting as an anchor, and I'm trying to go down to my legs. I'm broadening across from shoulder to shoulder, as well as the length of my spine. Really stretching, holding, and now begin to lengthen. Get your back flat again, pull up again, flex your feet again, get your shoulders pulled back, and let's try those 7 arm movements in this position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that is for us to test and strengthen our core. Now we come back and let's go to the same water skiing position. So try, your strap may have changed its position, but try to keep it as equal on both sides as possible. Get that loop and pull back. Now, if I can, my heels are actually above the ground. That's on the ground and this is above. Just maybe an inch. Pull my shoulders back, my chest up, And I'm putting good stress on all my bones. I'm putting them on my shoulder joint, my hip joints, my ankle joints, my wrist joints, my chest, my back, my neck. Everything works. Now, come on up again. And now we're going to use the strap in a new way. So we're going to bend our knees, pull your legs in, and now you're going to balance, similar to the way we did in the first pose, Dandasana, but we're trying to find it so we're not struggling. We just find that sweet point, we pull up and back. But now we add a stretch. So we add a traction stretch. We're stretching the hamstrings. I am keeping my hands so that my fingers are facing up. My biceps are doing a lot of work. My latissimus dorsi muscles, my trapezius. If you know muscles, those are some of the ones. We have a lot more working. Now, hold it, lean back, and then see if you can hold that position. And this is boat pose, Navasana. Now, cross your legs and just ease yourself forward. You may be here, your hands may be here. For those of you that can go out a little bit or wherever you are, try pushing from side to side. So I would like you to really feel a little bit of resistance as you go from side to side, and you'll get a nice stretch in your hip and lower back. If you can, go down a little bit lower to your forearms. These are counter poses, and they're very important in helping us to achieve balance between the strength and flexibility, and then out. All right. Now, coming up, I would like to add one other thing to this before we go to our last pose. The other thing is taking what we just did called Navasana or boat pose and doing it, seeing if we have the strength to do it without the strap. So now we lift our chest, we lean back, we find our balance, and we come into what we call half boat. Now, seeing if you can lift your chest, seeing if you can get your arms by your side. I am looking at the camera, but basically it's better if you don't move your neck in this position. So hold it, and then you come forward, and you again go into this counter pose. If you can, go all the way to your forearms and even further, and you can go from side to side. But it's okay if you're not there, and it's okay if you just lean forward a little bit. All right, taking this one step further. This time, and these are all things that you can work on and you will be able to do if you're not able to do them right now. So first you get your straight back, put your toes, lean on your hips. Now you try and straighten those legs. So we're using everything that we've done. Straighten those legs. Now I'm going to see if you can come in to boat pose from this position. Holding it for a couple of breaths, and then taking your other leg, coming down this way, stretching, stretching. Okay, now there's one more counter pose, which I will show you, and I'll only do part A. But you put your hands, remember, I want your hands to work like feet. I want your wrists and your hands to be able to be strong for your whole life. So we need to take weight on our hands, but do it in a way that eases them into the ability to do it. So lift your chest again, and then you lift your hips, and you come up, and you look at the ceiling, and your body is really long, and you push into those hands. Hold it for a couple of breaths, and then just ease yourself down. It's called Purvottanasana. All right, now, moving back to the third stretch, it is done on each leg, taking the role of the first position. So this is, of course, how we started with one bent leg, and this is how we added by taking one straight leg. Now, to do this, I like to take the arm that's on the side of the bent leg. So I take it straight up. Now, a lot of people think this is what I want. No, I want it straight up, and then I want you to take your arm and internally rotate it or externally rotate it. Feels like you're doing it towards your face, and then it's actually an external rotation. Now, I come as far as I can. My foot is straight up. From here, I press with my other arm and I fan my body like a beautiful Chinese fan, opening up. And then I take my arm, I start to press and rotate. So in a rotation, you want to go upward first like smoke, and then you can start to revolve. And then you can add your neck. So you can see that in all of these, we're using every joint in the body. Now I take both arms, I reach them way, way up, I go to the other side, and they're down, and I press and I lift. First I go up and then I rotate. If I can, I'll check out my neck and just see how that neck is doing as the top part of the spine, holding the head. Now taking both arms up and then down. Take your strap and we return to what I did before. Make it so that it is folded. Make it so it's equal in distance so that both straps are equal lengths. Now, my body would like to think this is front, but in this pose, I actually have a twist and I keep my legs straight. I then center my chest over my knee and I pull up. So now, just like we did in the second part, where we went over both legs that were straight, I'm doing the same thing. I'm pulling up, I'm reaching my back, I'm lifting my bones, and I come down. And then the third time, I come up and I see if I have the strength, the core strength to hold it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I loop, I go forward, I loop my strap. I find the loop, I find the belt part, I pull back, but I am centered on my knee. My fingers are up, so it's biceps. I'm pulling from the back or the 2 shoulder area, the scapula, and I'm using my trapezius muscle, my latissimus dorsi, a lot of big muscles in the back. Now, I want to hold it again for a minute, but I won't hold it that long quite yet. Now, from here, I start lifting it up, and then I take it down. And I lift it up, and I take it down. I lift it up. We're going to do it 4 times. So one more time. So you can see that we're using the joint, the hip joint. We're using our core strength. We're using our arms and our hands strength, all of it. Now I circle. So now I'm using my biceps and I'm lifting the weight of my leg. I'm using my back. I'm using my leg, my hip. 4, going the other way now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we add a lift of our leg to the side. So it's an open position. I use my knee to give me a brace, or I can use the floor, but the knee is actually better. Now I see if I have the strength to do a balance 1, a balance 2, and then a flying balance where I reach in opposite directions. Lift your kneecap. Now I cross it over my body. So I have internal rotation. My back is lifted, my arm is straight. 2, and then I fly. Good job. Now, come forward. This is the hardest of all, and it may be a while before you can actually do it. But you're going to drop the strap and hold the foot there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you would definitely know that you've been working the top part of your leg and the hip. Those are called the quads, and then the hip as well. Okay, let's take the other side. Taking the foot to the inside of the leg. The hip, big muscle of the hip, which often gives us a problem if you've got sciatica, is the piriformis muscle, and that we were just strengthening. Here we go on this side. So you do it without the strap first. Take your bent arm, you roll your arm in and up. You see how straight my arm is? Now, I take it forward. I try to go to my foot or beyond if I can. Then I start to press and fan open, lifting and using every muscle I can possibly find in my back. Now, I lift up, I press, I lift, and I add my head. So just see what that's like. Pressing. Now I take both arms, I reach up, I'm using core strength. I come around to this side and I do a final stretch here. Reaching, twisting, revolving. Try my head. Then I take both arms up and I bring them down. I take my strap, hold it about the distance of my shoulders, using isometric, posing energy lines. Reach it up. See if I can get it tall. See if I can pull from my back rather than my shoulders. See if I can do it with strength rather than strain. Up, and then come down, and then come up. Good job. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I lean with a flat back forward. I loop my strap. I find the loop end. I pull back. I use my biceps, so my fingers are turned up. I'm using my back, all those muscles I named, and we want to hold this. This is the one we hold eventually for 1 minute, but not right now. Just get the idea of it. Now we pull it up and we pull it down. We pull it up, we pull it down. We pull it up 3 times, and finally the 4th time, up and down. Now we go up and we circle across and around. 1, 2. So our arms are working, our fingers are working, our wrists are working, our forearms, our legs certainly. And we go the other way, around. And then we take it in one hand. You can hold it in both hands to give you strength. Then use this knee, pull your body up, pull your arm out to the side, balance 1, balance 2, and then flying across the universe, balance 3. Finding it wrapping itself across the sky and then coming to the other side. Lifting, balance 1, balance 2, lying among the stars, balance 3. And finally, the last thing is our final balance, which is challenging. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just settling both that muscle down by slapping, by tapping. Okay, very good. And then I'm going to suggest again that you go back to your elbows and you just shake your legs in the air any way you want. Good. Circling your feet, coming up, crossing your feet. This position is called Sukhasana, just a cross position. And then let's see if we can go forward one more time. Just pressing, pressing, pressing from side to side. And then seeing if you can take your forearms down. And are you able to let your neck go? Then you might just lift your arms up. And then just bring them down and together. I'd like to end with 2 half sun salutations, breathing in and up and gliding down. And pause and breathing in, up and gliding down. And pause. And at the end of every class in yoga, we end with namaste. That means from the light within me, I greet the light within you.